Imagine waking up in a place where time bends, where the raw honesty of a working barn meets the opulence of a bygone era, where every beam tells a story of labor and every velvet cushion whispers of luxury. You're standing at the threshold of something extraordinary. Not quite a home, not quite a barn, something in between, something that shouldn't exist, yet somehow feels like it's always been waiting for you. This is the retro luxe barndominium, and once you step inside, you'll never see home the same way again. Let's start with what most people get wrong. They think a barndominium is just a barn with a bed thrown in, maybe some rustic charm, maybe a farmhouse sink. But retro luxe? Oh no. This is where nostalgia crashes into extravagance with the force of a wrecking ball wrapped in silk. This is where your grandmother's most treasured memories shake hands with Studio 54, where weathered wood meets crushed velvet, where agricultural roots tangle with Art Deco dreams. And the most beautiful part? It's not trying to be one thing. It's not apologizing for being contradictory. It's both, always both. And that tension, that beautiful, impossible tension, is where the magic lives. Think about the last time you walked into a space that stopped you cold, that made your breath catch, that made you feel something you couldn't quite name. That's what we're building here. That's what retro luxe does to people. It breaks them open just a little, reminds them that walls can have souls, that ceilings can have stories, that a home can be a time machine. Now let's talk about those bones. Those glorious, uncompromising bones. In a retro luxe barndominium, the structure isn't hidden. It's the hero. Those exposed steel beams aren't painted over or disguised. They're celebrated. They're left raw, industrial, honest. They arch overhead like the ribs of some magnificent beast, creating cathedral ceilings that make you feel simultaneously humbled and elevated. These aren't just support beams. They're monuments to strength, to endurance, to the idea that beauty doesn't have to be delicate. And here's where the retro comes in, creeping through like morning light through barn slats. Picture this, hanging from those industrial beams, geometric chandeliers that could have been pulled straight from a 1970s penthouse. We're talking brass and glass. Sputnik fixtures with their starburst arms reaching out like they're trying to touch every corner of the room. Chrome and amber glass globes that cast warm, honeyed light across everything below. These aren't farmhouse lanterns. These are statement pieces. These are conversation starters. These are the kinds of lights that make you want to dress up just to sit in your living room. The walls. Oh, the walls tell their own story. One side might be original barn wood, every groove and knot and weathered gray plank left exactly as time made it. You can still see where tools hung, where seasons left their marks, where life happened. But turn your head, and suddenly you're looking at a feature wall covered in textured wallpaper from the 1960s, geometric patterns in burnt orange and olive green, or maybe velvet flocking in deep burgundy. Or perhaps it's wood paneling, but not the sad, dated kind. No, this is the intentional kind, the kind lacquered to a high shine. The kind that reflects those geometric lights and creates depth and warmth and a sense that you've stepped into the private lounge of someone very interesting. Let's move to the floors, because this is where retro luxe really shows its duality. You might have polished concrete as your base, smooth and cool and industrial, a perfect nod to the barn's utilitarian past. But then you layer Persian rugs in faded jewel tones, their intricate patterns creating islands of luxury in that sea of concrete. Or maybe shag carpets in burnt orange or avocado green. Those deep pile beauties from the 70s that your toes sink into like you're walking on clouds made of nostalgia. And in the kitchen, perhaps original brick, worn smooth by a century of footsteps, or wide plank reclaimed wood that creaks just slightly when you walk across it, reminding you that this place has history, has memory, has life. The furniture is where things get deliciously complicated. This isn't matchy-matchy. This isn't a showroom. This is a collection, a curation of moments across time. Your sofa might be a low-slung mid-century modern piece, all clean lines and tapered wooden legs, upholstered in that perfect butterscotch leather that only gets more beautiful as it ages. But next to it, a velvet tufted ottoman in emerald green, the kind your fingers can't help but trail across. Or maybe a pair of egg chairs, those iconic curved shells from the 60s, in burnt sienna or dusty rose, suspended from the ceiling or perched on their own pedestals like the sculptural pieces they are. And scattered throughout, brass and chrome accents everywhere. A brass bar cart that catches the light, stocked with vintage glassware and decanters that look like they've hosted 1,000 celebrations. Chrome side tables with smoked glass tops. Metal shelving units displaying ceramics and coffee table books and objects that mean something, that were chosen, that have stories. This is maximalism done right. Every piece belongs. Every piece has earned its place. The kitchen in a retro luxe barndominium is where pragmatism puts on its finest jewelry. You still have the space, the openness, the industrial functionality of a barn kitchen. But instead of all stainless steel and white subway tile, picture this: custom cabinetry in a rich walnut or a deep forest green, with brass hardware that gleams like tiny sunbursts on every drawer and door. The countertops might be thick butcher block, warm and organic and perfect for chopping or for gathering around with wine glasses in good company. Or maybe it's terrazzo, that speckled composite that screams vintage Italian elegance, in colors that shouldn't work together but somehow do. Pinks and greens and golds all suspended in smooth resin. And the appliances? Yes, they're modern because you're not actually living in 1975, but they're chosen carefully. Maybe a matte black range with brass knobs. Maybe a refrigerator with a retro-inspired rounded design in a statement color. The goal is seamless integration, where modern convenience never breaks the spell of the aesthetic. Let's talk about lighting again, because in retro luxe, lighting isn't just functional. It's emotional. Beyond those statement chandeliers, you're layering in mood. Track lighting with vintage Edison bulbs creates focused pools of warm light. Arc floor lamps with marble bases and curved brass arms stretch over reading nooks like elegant question marks. Wall sconces and Art Deco geometric patterns cast shadows that dance across those textured walls. And somewhere, probably in a corner you want to feel intimate and special, there's a neon sign. Maybe a word. Maybe a shape. Maybe just a line of light in a color that makes you feel something when you look at it. That's the retro coming through. That's the luxury of not taking yourself too seriously. Bedrooms in this space are sanctuaries that understand contrast. Your bed might sit on a simple platform frame, low and modern, but it's dressed in layers. Velvet throws in jewel tones. Linen sheets in muted earth colors. Pillows in geometric patterns or solid luxe fabrics, stacked and arranged like they're begging you to sink in and never leave. The headboard could be anything: tufted velvet in a dramatic wing shape, reclaimed barnwood planks arranged vertically, or even a vintage macrame wall hanging that adds texture and softness to the space. And above the bed, maybe a pendant light on a long cord, something with a sculptural quality, something that makes you lie there at night and stare up and think about design and beauty and how a light fixture can somehow make you feel less alone. The bathroom is where retro luxe really gets to show off. This is where you can go full maximalist, full vintage, full indulgent. Picture a clawfoot tub, maybe in a matte black or even a deep navy, sitting in the middle of the space like a throne. Or a sunken tub surrounded by vintage tile in geometric patterns. Those small square tiles and combinations that feel both nostalgic and fresh. The vanity might be a repurposed dresser, something with character and carved details, topped with a vessel sink in hammered copper or frosted glass. And the mirror? Oversized, ornate, maybe with a gilt frame or a sunburst design that catches every bit of light and throws it back transformed. But here's what makes all of this work. Here's the secret that holds the entire retro luxe barndominium concept together. It's authenticity. It's confidence. It's the willingness to honor both the past and the present